Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin in a few minutes. Remember to please silence your cell phones.
Truth was born into slavery in the 18th century, she remained an outspoken critic who fought for her right to be heard in a hostile world.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to General Dynamics NASCO. We are pleased that you have joined us today to be part of a long-standing tradition of christening a U.S. naval ship. The tradition continues today as we are set to christen and launch the USNS Sojourner Truth TAO 210. My name is Brian Jones, and I'm your Master of Ceremonies this evening. On behalf of the men and women of General Dynamics NASCO who labor in our shipyard every day, it is my honor to represent them and to welcome you. I would also like to extend a very special welcome to those who are watching the ceremony via the live stream. Thank you for joining us out there. Will all the guests please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the presentation of colors, our national anthem, and the invocation. Lieutenant Commander Stephen Schwartz, Chaplain Corps, United States Navy. Commander Mark Iwaku, United States Navy, Officer in Charge, Supervisor of Shipbuilding Bath, Detachment San Diego. Mr. John Lighthammer, Auxiliary and Special Mission Shipbuilding Program Manager, Program Executive Office, Ships. Ms. Carmen Allen, Maid of Honor. Captain Micah Murphy, United States Navy, Commander, Military, Sealift Command, Pacific. Rear Admiral Thomas Anderson, United States Navy, Program Executive Officer, Ships. Vice Admiral John Wade, United States Navy, Commander, U.S. 3rd Fleet. Our principal speaker, Dr. Brett Seidel, performing the duties of the Undersecretary of the Navy. And finally, our ship sponsor, Ms. Barbara Allen, escorted by the President of General Dynamics NASCO, Mr. David Carver. Navy Band Southwest will now render honors to Dr. Seidel. Color guard, parade the colors.
Detail, halt, left, face.
Color guard, retire the colors.
Ready?
Lieutenant Commander Stephen Schwartz will now deliver the invocation. Chaplain.
Let us pray. Almighty God, tonight we take the time to honor America's heritage of freedom. The namesake of our vessel was a former slave, but became a powerful advocate for freedom, humanity, and dignity and truth. Soon, the Sojourner Truth will play a critical piece in the freedom of global sea lanes, continuing America's best legacy. May you bless the vessel from natural calamity as long as it sails. May you bless her crew as long as they man their stations. May you bless her hull against those who would violate the freedom of the seas. May you bless her navigation and keep her as true as her namesake. And may you bless the minds and hands that crafted and funded this vessel, as well as those who maintain her seaworthiness. May you always bless her voyages, missions, and her readiness. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Let's give a big round of applause for our color guard from the USNS Mercy, TAH-19, and the band from Navy Region Southwest. A wonderful job as always. Thank you so much for being here. And while you're clapping, let's give yourselves a hand. I love the lights. So before the start of this evening's ceremony, the ship's sponsor and her maid of honor were presented with a bouquet of flowers by our ceremonial flower girl, Penelope Schrock. Penelope is the daughter of Chuck Schrock, Director of Planning at General Dynamics NASCO. Penelope and the rest of the Schrock family, would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you so much. We're also very fortunate to have a great deal of family members in attendance whose lineage dates back to Sojourner Truth. Would all descendants of Sojourner Truth who are with us tonight please stand as you are able and be recognized. Thank you all so much for being here. I would also like to recognize several distinguished guests who are in attendance. Our shore removal honoree, Mrs. Debbie Anderson. Please stand. Rear Admiral Robert C. Nowakowski, United States Navy Deputy Commander, Naval Education and Training Command, Force Development. Rear Admiral Bradley N. Rosen, United States Navy Commander, Navy Region Southwest. Rear Admiral Reginald Harris, Deputy Commander, Navy Expeditionary Combat Command. Vice Admiral David Lewis, United States Navy, retired, 5th Program Executive Officer, Ships. Ms. Bruni Bradley, Society of Ship Sponsors Representative and sponsor of USNS Guam. And to the rest of our audience, thank you all for attending and your ongoing support of the men and women of General Dynamics NASSCO. Thank you. Now it's my honor to introduce our first speaker this evening. Please welcome the President of General Dynamics NASSCO, Mr. Dave Carver.
So thank you, Brian, and good evening, everyone. It's a privilege to welcome you here today to General Dynamics NASSCO for a celebration that brings together history, service, and the incredible power of an American industry and innovation. We are proud to host the christening and launch of the USNS Sojourner Truth, the 6th ship in the John Lewis class fleet oiler program, and the latest product of an extraordinary partnership between the NASSCO and the United States Navy. We are honored by the presence of a very special guest, Dr. Bright Seidel, performing the duties of the Undersecretary of the Navy. Doctor, thank you for visiting the shipyard and for your early support of our shipbuilding community and your commitment to strengthen the fleet that protects our national interests around the globe. This ship bears the name Sojourner Truth, a fierce advocate for abolition, for women's rights, and for the fundamental belief that every person is entitled to dignity and justice. Her name on the hull of this ship reminds us that service takes many forms and that the truth, courage, and conviction must always guide our mission. Being a ship sponsor is a tremendous privilege, and today it is especially meaningful that this ship is being christened by Miss Barbara M. Allen, a 6th-generation descendant of Sojourner. Barbara is an accomplished author, having written children's books such as Remembering Great-Grandma Sojourner Truth and Journey with Great-Grandma Sojourner Truth. Barbara, your presence today brings history and future together. Your connection to Sojourner Truth ensures that this ship will not only carry fuel and supplies, but a legacy of courage and integrity. As you have all made your way to the ceremony site this evening, you might have noticed there's quite a bit of activity happening in the shipyard. To my right is the TAO-211, the USNS Thurgood Marshall, the next ship in the John Lewis class of fleet oilers. Further to the right is the ESB-8, the USNS Hector Cafferata Jr., almost 80% constructed in our graving dock. And also further to the right is the TAO-209, the USNS Lucy Stone, which will go on sea trials later this year. And pretty close to the Lucy Stone, our repair team is conducting work on the USS Chung Hoon DDG-93, and on the opposite end of the shipyard, work is underway on the USS Manchester LCS-14. And lastly, in 2 weeks, taking Sojourner's place after she launches tonight will be the TAO-212, the USNS Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You could see the steel blocks for this ship all around the yard when you walked in. A very high level of planning, coordination, and responsibility must be undertaken to construct and repair all these vessels simultaneously. None of this happens without dedication and expertise of our NASSCO shipbuilders. To our shipbuilders, this is your ship. You built her, and you built her to endure. Your skill, your dedication, your craftsmanship are what breathe life into steel. You are the backbone of American shipbuilding, and I'm proud to stand with you today. Let's have a round of applause for all of our NASSCO employees. Including the 150 that are still accomplishing tasks on the ways. Can't forget them. I would also like to thank PEO ships, soup ships, MSC, ABS, NAVC, and all of our teaming partners. Without their combined efforts, we would not be here this evening. The collaboration between all of us on the John Lewis class has created a partnership that has made this program one of the more successful ones in the United States. Together, we've worked side by side on design innovation, supply chain resilience, workforce development, and mission readiness. We have shared challenges, solved problems, and driven forward with one common goal: to deliver the ships our sailors need to succeed. What we christen tonight is not just a ship, it's an embodiment of American unity that will carry Sojourner Truth legacy and the legacy of America all over the world. The ship will cover 2.5 football fields, coming in at 746 feet in length, can sustain a speed up to 20 knots or 23 miles per hour for more than 7,000 miles. That's the distance from San Diego to Taiwan. She can carry nearly 7 million gallons of fuel, 9,000 square feet of dry and refrigerated cargo, and has the capability of replenishing 3 ships at the same time. The USNS Sojourner Truth is an impressive feat of modern engineering and construction. On behalf of the 4,800 employees of General Dynamics NASSCO, I am proud to present the USNS Sojourner Truth for christening to our sponsor, Ms. Barbara Allen. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Next, please welcome Captain Micah Murphy, Commander, Military Sealift Command Pacific.
Thank you, Brian, Dr. Seidel, Vice Admiral Wade, Rear Admiral Anderson, Mr. Carver, Ms. Barbara Allen, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. I am honored to represent the men and women of Military Sealift Command in welcoming our newest ship to the Combat Logistics Force. Like other great American leaders honored by this ship class, Sojourner Truth contributed much to the freedoms we enjoy today. An outspoken advocate for abolition, temperance, and civil and women's rights, she was a champion of equality who sought to eliminate disparity and close opportunity gaps that plagued our nation during her lifetime. We are very proud to be associated with and eagerly look forward to sailing a ship in her name. Today's global maritime environment is increasingly crowded and contested, fast-paced and competitive. USNS Sojourner Truth and the other ships of the John Lewis class are designed to meet those challenges. What sets these ships apart is a unique combination of capability, adaptability, and innovation, featuring greater capacity of dry cargo, cold and freeze storage, more rapid transfer of fuel between ships during underway replenishment, automation in hull, mechanical, and electrical equipment, and quality of life improvements for our civil service mariners, such as wireless networks and improved connectivity. The Navy's ability to project power across the globe depends on sustained operations at sea, and that simply wouldn't be possible without ships like the USNS Sojourner Truth. Resupplying and refueling our strike groups, supporting maritime security and deterrence operations, underway training, and important operations and exercises with our allied and joint partners. Without MSC's Combat Logistics Force, carrier strike groups and amphibious forces would be tethered to shore-based support, severely limiting their reach and operational tempo. In short, these ships enable U.S. naval forces to remain forward deployed, flexible, and ready to respond anywhere in the world on short notice. Sojourner Truth will soon join up and serve alongside them and other ships of the fleet to ensure our nation retains its competitive advantage in a competitive world. The greatness of this ship is only matched by the greatness of her crew, who represents the thousands of civil service mariners at sea today and the staff of military seat of command who support them ashore. Our nation and our Navy are fortunate to have these Americans who step forward through the maritime academies, the union halls, the maritime industry, and many other walks of life from all corners of the nation to serve in the United States Merchant Marine. They include pursers and cooks, machinists and electronics technicians, able seamen, storekeepers, communicators, engineers, and many other specialists. And we're always looking to add more talent to our team. If you know anybody, please send them my way. In peacetime or war, merchant mariners have answered the call of service every time. They demonstrate a deep and rich history of professionalism, seamanship, and bravery across the globe. Whether defending their ship against pirates or preventing a cyber attack, delivering supplies to a nation in need, or evading a dangerous storm at sea, you can be assured American mariners will be there to help safeguard our nation and her interests. To the teams at PEO Ships, Naval Sea Systems Command, and NASCO, and the engineers, naval architects, and craftsmen and women who had a hand in building the ship, our nation is made stronger by your work. Thank you very much. The construction of this ship is a tremendous example of what our industry and government team can accomplish together. It is only through this unwavering partnership that we will continue to remain the premier maritime force in the world. Finally, I'd like to thank our ship sponsor, Ms. Barbara Allen. Today's ceremony seals a special relationship you have developed and will enjoy in the future with this ship and her crew. You're always welcome on board the USNS Sojourner Truth. May God bless this ship, all who built her, and all those who will sail in her in her service to this nation and our Navy. Thank you.
Thank you, Commodore. Please welcome Vice Admiral John Wade, United States Navy Commander, U.S. 3rd Fleet. Actually, technical difficulties here.
Honorable Seidel, President Carter, and other NASCO leaders, administrators, supervisors, and workers of all trades. Barbara and Carmen Allen and other descendants of Sojourner Truth, Admirals Anderson, Captain Murphy, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the christening and the launching of United States naval ship Sojourner Truth. It's an incredible evening and an event. My wife, Catherine, and I are absolutely honored to be here, and we're representing Admiral Kilby, the acting Chief of Naval Operations, who unfortunately could not be here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, while I wish it were not so, we live in a dangerous, complex, and rapidly changing world. Our security interests and those of our allies and partners are increasingly challenged across the globe. Now, more than ever, our nation needs a capable and credible Navy. Our Navy exists to deter and to prevent conflict, but make no mistake about it, our Navy is also prepared and ready to respond to crises and to fight and win if called upon. We achieve this by maintaining a global forward presence on the high seas, strong, trained, proficient, demonstrating resolve, and making the hard and dangerous look easy. We protect our nation, provide maritime security, and project power in a number of ways, from our aircraft carriers, our warships, and submarines, in coordination with our joint teammates, the Army, Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard, and our allies and partners. If needed, we can operate surgically by inserting and extracting our Navy SEALs. And our naval force has another important means to project power the United States Marine Corps, who can move on the sea or in the air from our amphibious ships. But it's all important to note that more often than not, however, that we hold out a helping hand, providing humanitarian assistance, disaster relief, and helping mariners at sea. The strength of our Navy has three critical components. First, our people, those in uniform, government civilians, contractors. They are the heart and the soul of our institution. Next is our capital equipment, ships, aircraft, submarines, sensors, weapons. They enable the capabilities that are required to deter, help others, or to respond. And third is our industrial base, businesses, people, processes, an important ecosystem that produces, maintains, and modernizes the equipment we must operate to conduct our important mission. General Dynamics, NASSCO, this shipyard, the workforce, what you do each and every day is foundational to this system and plays such an important role in our nation's security and economic prosperity. The Earth is a pretty big place, and oceans cover a little of 70% of it. And for those of you who haven't spent much time at sea, it's very difficult to understand the vastness of the maritime domain. In the Pacific, for example, it takes 8 to 9 days to travel from San Diego west to Hawaii, another week to Guam, and yet another week to the Western Pacific. To cover this much area and to do what we must as a Navy requires the ability to sustain ourselves, to refuel, resupply, repair, and rearm. It's all about logistics. And in a few minutes, Sojourner Truth will be christened and launched, the newest logistics ship in our Navy's inventory, adding important sustainment capability and capacity. To bring a ship to life is incredibly difficult. It's a true team-of-teams approach, integrating and sequencing each work item from the first piece of steel to the last rivet and stroke of paint and everything in between. So many people, the hard work, determination, grit, professionalism, pride. Many of you that I've met in the last 2 days, so humbling. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in another round of applause to acknowledge all those who designed, planned, and built this amazing and beautiful ship. Thank you. You might have noted that I said that this ship has been brought to life. Ships, especially Navy ships, and their crews take on the personality and the spirit of their namesake for whom they are named, and that of the ship's sponsor. In his forthcoming remarks, Honorable Seidel will eloquently highlight Sojourner Truth's courage and perseverance as she boldly stood for freedom many generations ago, and what Barbara and Carmen Allen embody as the ship's sponsor and maid of honor. These were the qualities exhibited by those who built this ship and that of the mariners who will man and operate her. And in a larger sense, these qualities, again, courage and perseverance in support of freedom, is exactly and describes what we need from our Navy today and the crucial years ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless our great nation, the United States Navy, this amazing ship, the civilian mariners who will operate her, and the incredible legacy of Sojourner Truth. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Admiral Wade. Now I'm pleased to welcome our principal speaker, performing the duties of the Undersecretary of the Navy. Please welcome Dr. Brett Seidel. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Secretary of the Navy, it's an absolute honor to be here in San Diego tonight for the christening of our fleet's future oiler, the USNS Sojourner Truth. And what better place to christen a beautiful ship than this awesome city of San Diego? We even have beautiful weather here tonight. Had a great day today doing some sightseeing. It's really just an awesome place to be. The Secretary is on international travel. He started on Friday. He really wished he could be here. I hated for him to miss it. At least that's what I publicly say. Privately, I told a group of friends, I'm kind of glad he couldn't make it. Because tonight I get to see the exciting launch of this ship behind me. Who's excited about that tonight? Yeah, me too. I'm supposed to stay on script because this is all a timing thing going on here behind us. See, it just made a noise. The ship is supposed to move at 9 o'clock. It started yesterday. Admiral Anderson's wife, Debbie, drove the first wedge at midday, around noon, I think, and it's been going on through the night. I'm fascinated by that because it's just going to move at some point in time. We're supposed to be ready. If it doesn't, wait till we're done. I'm a little concerned because I can't see the thing right now and you guys can. So if this thing starts to budge, please let me know so we can get after it pretty quickly, all right? And that's all the ad hoc you're going to get. I'm going to really stay on script here because I have a certain amount of time as well. How about the band again? Thank you to the Navy Band Southwest for their performance. Really nice job. And thank you to the Great Color Guard and to Chaplain Schwartz as well for his invocation. And a little inside joke for the folks that were at dinner last night. Chaplain, you are rocking those Navy whites. That is as good as I've ever seen them look on a chaplain. Certainly great to be here tonight with you fine folks. I really did have a wonderful time last night getting a chance to meet several of you. It was certainly a treat and an honor to meet the descendants and family of Sojourner Truth, truly a national hero. And I really appreciate the hospitality shown on all fronts by the family as well as NASCO. I'd like to begin by thanking our industry partners. Dave Carver, thank you for everything you and the great team here at General Dynamics NASCO have done to provide this valuable asset to the fleet. Admiral Wade, thank you for your remarks as well and for being here this evening. I know how much fleet oilers and logistics ships mean to the fighting readiness of your fleet and how much interest our operators take in the skill and speed and delivery of America's shipyards. And tonight is a great night for our Navy, so thank you very much as well. Rear Admiral Anderson and Captain Murphy, thank you as well. And Admiral Anderson, once again, appreciate your service, dedication, and advocacy for our Navy and the Military Sealift Command team and for your tireless efforts to build the fleet of the future. Admiral Anderson is retiring here after 34 outstanding years. And as you carry out your duties in the last christening in uniform, on behalf of Grateful Navy, I want to provide you with our deepest gratitude for the strong support you have provided our Navy in your amazing career. It really has been an honor to work with you for the last several years, Admiral, and wish you all the best going forward. And can't think of a better way for us to end our journey together than watching this ship go off tonight. So let's give a round of applause for Admiral Anderson. We are also deeply honored to have the ship's sponsor of the future USNS Sojourner Truth with us today, Miss Barbara Allen. On behalf of the Secretary and the entire Navy, thank you so much for being here. Your presence signifies a profound connection between the ship and those who proudly sail on her. I am excited to welcome you to our Navy and Marine Corps family, so thank you very much. It's also an incredible honor to be in the presence of several descendants of Sojourner Truth. It was great to meet many of you here last night, and the Navy is certainly excited to have you all be a part of this awesome event.
Each of you, along with Miss Allen, are the living legacy of this amazing American, and in just a few minutes from now, her name will also live on in our fleet for many years, sailing the seas as a representative of our nation's values and a commitment to freedom for all to see. With this christening, the Sojourner Truth will join the finest Navy ever assembled in the history of the world, and she couldn't join the Navy at a better time. Later this year, our Navy will mark its 250th anniversary. And that, my friends, is 250 years of defending our nation, defeating global tyranny, providing humanitarian aid to those who need it most, and keeping the global sea lanes open for the economic prosperity of all. Our nation projects its power and presence around the globe with its Blue Water Navy, and it cannot happen without oilers like the USNS Sojourner Truth. And the first engagement by peoples of different cultures with American values and our inherent goodness often happens with our Navy. And for that reason, how we carry ourselves, the way we lead, our grace and empathy are incredibly important to always be on display. And I can think of no better representation of that than of Sojourner Truth. I am incredibly proud to be a part of this finest Navy ever assembled that also represents the best of what America stands for. And having the USNS Sojourner Truth in our lineup is an important addition for all of those reasons. Let's give it up again. Our Navy and Marine Corps are elite services, steeped in custom, and christening ceremonies like this one tonight are certainly part of our most cherished traditions. We reserve the naming of our ships for special places, historic events, and great people who represent the best amongst us and whose distinguished contributions are worthy of our remembrance for generations to come. And in that vein, Sojourner Truth was a natural choice to be memorialized with a ship bearing her name. With the passage of each generation, as Americans of all backgrounds enjoy freedom and relative wealth not experienced by any other peoples in human history, the life experiences and accomplishments of this remarkable woman become even more impressive and heroic when told today. In many ways, I feel inadequate to tell her story up here tonight. I shared with my team that we could have a Smithsonian historian come up here on stage and tell Sojourner's life story, and it would keep you rapt attention for the next 4 hours. It reads better than any Hollywood script. However, tonight, we don't have hours to dedicate to that story because this ship is going to move in a bit. But suffice it to say that when you talk about selfless American heroes, Sojourner Truth is on a very short and distinguished list indeed. Her immense courage and perseverance were instrumental not just in the emancipation of enslaved Americans, but also in her recruitment of black soldiers into the Union Army during the Civil War. This played an important part in preserving our Union and providing these men a sense of dignity and honor that only comes from fighting for and winning freedom on the field of battle. Given all her accomplishments in the name of liberty, how can her nation repay Sojourner Truth for her leadership and sacrifice? For starters, we do it by continuing to be that shining city on the hill which provides freedom and liberty to all its citizens and sets the example for all nations and peoples of various cultures to follow. Our nation has stood as that example for the past 250 years. And it is both our destiny and our responsibility to continue providing that leadership into the future. Therefore, it's important to promote Ms. Truth's legacy, reminding current and future generations of the possibilities any woman or man can achieve if they stand up for justice and truth. For this reason, Sojourner Truth monuments stand in several states, to include a bust of Sojourner Truth in the U.S. Capitol, and our president has also placed her name on the list of Americans who will be immortalized with statues in a new garden of American heroes. Let's give it up for that as well. And so, 2025 is a big year for the enduring legacy of this great leader. Our Navy's 250th celebration includes the christening of the future USNS Sojourner Truth, a ship which will travel all over the globe as an enduring symbol of freedom and democracy. This special day would also not be possible without the support of the great men and women of GD NASCO. NASCO is one of our key industrial partners, experts in ship repair and construction of some of our most critical auxiliary ships, to include our fleet oilers, all put into the hands of our sailors and Marines who defend our freedoms. The ships and submarines that make up our fleet are genuine strategic and national assets which allow us to accomplish all of the things that I've mentioned previously. But here in this Navy town, the home of our large and impressive United States Third Fleet, there's another important national critical strategic asset, every bit as critical as an aircraft carrier or a ballistic submarine. And I am, of course, talking about the men and women that make up our shipbuilding workforce. Here in your hometown of San Diego, naval architects, welders, pipe fitters, electricians, and other craftsmen are using their valuable skills to modernize our fleet, and their work has a direct connection to the greatness of our Navy and nation. If you've heard me speak recently, you know I believe we need a lot more of these patriots. But what I know for sure is this: the Navy very much values each and every one of you. The men and women of GD NASCO live a life of great purpose, and I thank you for your service. In the same manner, I thank our sailors and Marines. We continue to need you now more than ever. And for the more than 1,000 men and women around the platform that I walked by when I came up, I see you. I see you, and I thank you for the impact that you're having daily. Let's give it up for them and everything that they do for our nation. This majestic vessel behind me is being christened and launched at a time when shipbuilding is an urgent national priority. And I am energized to work with General Dynamics to address the challenges our Navy and nation face in new and myriad ways, to strengthen our maritime industrial base and grow the capabilities of our Navy fleet. The christening of this fine ship means a great deal to our Navy and Military Sealift Command, to the men and women of this impressive Navy community in San Diego, and to the living descendants of this great woman whose name is emblazoned on this beautiful ship, proudly sharing her legacy across the world as she sails the high seas for generations to come. Because sailing the high seas is what great navies do. But what separates the varsity from the JV is the ability to sail far away from a nation's shores, to remain deployed on the other side of the globe for long periods of time. We call navies that do this blue water navies, and no one does it better or sails farther than the Navy of the United States. And for the reason for this is the superb logistical support we receive from our Military Sealift Command. Our aircraft carriers and submarines are powered by nuclear reactors, which means they only stop for gas every 25 years or so. But the heart of our fleet, the destroyers, the cruisers, the amphibious ships, which carries our sailors and Marines into the fight, need to get gas almost as frequently as you do on the way home tonight, albeit we pay a little better price. The USNS Sojourner Truth is a John Lewis-class fleet oiler, an important component of our maritime force, every bit as critical as a surface combatant or a submarine. In many ways, I believe they are even more critical. For without the ability to conduct underway replenishment at sea, our Navy would be limited to sailing short distances only within range of shoreside fueling facilities. The ships that the fine men and women here at NASCO build provide the ability for our Third Fleet down at 32nd Street to sail out of San Diego Bay and traverse all the way around the world, if required, refueling at sea along the way. So to the men and women of GD NASCO, I do know you're proud of these fleet oilers, as well you should be. They are in many ways the unsung heroes of the greatest blue water Navy in the history of the world. Last year, we made another block buy of these ships, which will keep them coming off the production line here for years to come. And we did that because this great shipyard does outstanding work for our Navy and our nation. And for that, the Secretary of the Navy and I are profoundly grateful to you all. Another round of applause, please. And in closing, and the ship still hasn't moved yet, you might have noticed, as tradition dictates, this ceremony will be capped off with our sponsor, Miss Barbara Allen, blessing the ship by breaking a bottle of sparkling wine over the bow. For the record, I'm going to allow her to get wet, and I'm going to strategically place myself where that won't happen for me. But this time-honored tradition has its origins back to early times, when ancient cultures such as the Greeks and Romans all blessed their ships, calling on their gods to protect the seamen who manned them. Miss Allen will execute this very sacred duty, one which we pray will provide a layer of protection over all who sail upon her over the horizon as she carries out her mission, her critical missions for years to come. May God grant fair winds and following seas to the USNS Sojourner Truth and to our Navy, our sailors, and our civilian mariners. Thank you once again for the hospitality last night and for this great day here today. It truly has been my sincere pleasure to share this experience with all of you. And remember this as we bring another asset to our esteemed fleet. The finest Navy ever assembled is still dominant on the high seas today. And it is a direct result of your collective efforts. Thank you for all you do in keeping our nation safe and allowing your Navy to perform its mission of goodness around the globe whenever and wherever we're called upon. Because, friends, it is an incredibly worthwhile mission. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Seidel. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our ship sponsor. Please welcome Miss Barbara Allen.
I'm going to try to be brief because I don't want her to move either before I'm able to christen her. Today is a beautiful day. Can you just give me a moment? I got it. Today is a beautiful day to celebrate the profound and enduring impact of Sojourner Truth and the christening of this USNS Sojourner Truth. I am honored to stand before you as Barbara Allen, her sixth-generation granddaughter, and the proud sponsor of this impressive ship. It is a privilege to represent not only her remarkable legacy, but also the rich heritage of our family and community. On behalf of my family, I would like to sincerely thank you for welcoming us and allowing us to share in this special moment. Sojourner was far more than a pioneer. She was a beacon of hope, an abolitionist, a champion for women's rights, and a warrior for justice. Her courageous steps towards freedom in 1826, alongside her daughter Sophia, marked the beginning of an extraordinary journey, one driven by unyielding conviction and unwavering faith. From that moment, she never glanced back. Instead, she marched forward towards a future where freedom was not merely her own, but a gift and a legacy for generations to come. Her voice was powerful as her spirit, her height commanding and her presence undeniable. Sojourner stood tall both in stature and in conviction, boldly declaring her entitlement to every right afforded to a man. For her labor was equally intense, equally daunting. Sojourner reminds us that every individual, regardless of skin color, gender, or past injustice imposed upon them, deserves the opportunity to live without fear, judgment, or the burden of discrimination. Her unwavering belief in justice and equality was captured in her iconic declaration, "It is God's truth, and the truth is powerful, and the truth shall prevail." Those words continue to inspire, guide, and challenge us to this day. Today, as we gather to christen and launch the Sojourner Truth, we honor not only her name, but her resolute spirit and mission. This ship will not merely navigate the seas. It will stand as a living testament to the values Sojourner so passionately championed. It will serve as a symbol of unity, fortitude, and purpose. A vessel named for a woman whose impact know no bounds. To the crew who will man this ship, I extend my heartfelt gratitude. You are the steward of this mission, the heart and soul of its journey. May Sojourner's legacy inspire you, guide you, and empower you as you carry her name and value forward across the seas. In closing, I am deeply honored and profoundly humbled to be part of this extraordinary occasion. Let us stand together, united in purpose and pride, as we celebrate the remarkable legacy of Sojourner Truth and the vessel that now bears her name. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Dr. Seidel, you're not going to believe this, but we're actually ahead of schedule. Does anybody else want to speak? No. And now it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Miss Allen, are you ready to christen Sojourner Truth? All right, let's do it. Dave, Dr. Seidel, can you please escort our sponsor to the Striker Bar for the christening and launch? Walk slow because we are ahead of schedule. And then while they're walking up the stairs, let's hear it again from Navy Band Southwest. They can play a couple songs while we wait. Our trigger honoree, Lizette Garcia, is standing by. Let's hear one more song from Navy Band Southwest. We got 1 minute.
Hold it like this, all right? Okay. For the United States of America, I christen the USNS Sojourner Truth. May God bless this ship and all who will sail in her.
It is going.
And we have christened and launched the USNS Sojourner Truth TAO 210. On behalf of the men and women of General Dynamics NASSCO, thank you for attending the christening and launch of the USNS Sojourner Truth. Special thanks to the entire NASSCO events team and Navy christening team for a job well done. This concludes our ceremony. Thank you all for coming. I wish you fair winds and following seas, and everyone have a great evening.
Thank you.